Don't drop things. Hello, everybody. My name is Maggie Flanagan, and I'm a graduate student at the University of Connecticut in puppetry arts. And today we're going to be making sock puppets. Now, as you can see, there is a little comment bar where if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment bar, and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can while we're starting the process. All right, so to make a little guy like this, we're going to need the supplies that are listed in the description of this video. And I'm just going to show you what those supplies are. So for a moment, I'm going to take my friend off. I'm going to spare you the horror of seeing a puppet come off of somebody's hand. But I'm going to put him over here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be working with today. All right, so the main ingredient to a sock puppet is, of course, a sock. I have a particularly long sock, but you can use a sock of any size or shape. This one doesn't have a heel on it. So this one's a little easier to work with, but if you do have one with a heel on it, I'll be giving you some instructions on how to make sure that you orient your mouth plate in the right way. The next material that you're going to need is a piece of cardboard. I'm just using a recycled mailer. Any sort of recycled cardboard will do. Cereal boxes are fine as well, so just get yourself a nice piece of cardboard. You're going to need some colored felt or colored construction paper. I also have some markers here. And for eyes, the puppet that I just showed you has half of a ping pong ball for both of its eyes. We have the whole ping pong ball here, but I also have some bottle caps, and you can also use the sections out of egg cartons. Now, the equipment that you're going to need for this will be a good pair of scissors and a glue gun. Now, if you're using a glue gun, try to put it on a cardboard surface or a surface that won't get scorched, as they are very hot. And if you're following along and you're a little younger, get an adult to help you out with your glue gun. All right. So for the first step, we're just going to move some of this stuff so we have some room to work. Our first step, we're going to start with the cardboard. Now you're going to want to take a marker. You're going to want to make an oval on your cardboard. Now this is going to be your mouth plate, so make sure that your oval sort of matches how big the top of your hand is, so that you get a nice sized mouth plate. And just sort of reflect that on the other side, so that you get a nice oval shape like this. Mine's not super even, but we're going to be cutting it out. So sometimes I like to draw a line right down the center because that's where we're going to be folding it, and it just shows me where I'm going to fold it. So I'm going to come back up. Hi! Now I'm going to be using my scissors to cut my oval out. Now this is a mouth plate. A mouth plate is exactly what it sounds like. It's the mouth part of our sock puppet. We're going to be cutting this out of cardboard together, and make sure that your hot glue guns are nice and hot because our next step is gluing the mouth plate. See, I've got my mouth plate here. I'm going to fold it just a little, just to get me started. I find if you're using corrugated cardboard and you don't want it to like fold a whole bunch, fold it against the grain of the cardboard so that you don't get it like rolling, so that you have a more definite jaw. So like, hi. So this is your mouth plate. All right, just gonna get rid of the scraps of cardboard. You can recycle these or save them for other projects. Next up, we're gonna work with our sock. All right, so for this step, you're gonna need to turn your sock inside out. Whoop. All right, so remember when I said earlier, you might have a sock with a heel? Ooh, now there's sock dust everywhere. Fun. This is a new sock, so it's not like bad sock dust. If you have a sock with a heel in it, you're going to want to glue your mouth plate onto the side that is not the heel part. So for me, I'm going to glue my mouth plate into the side that has the Hanes logo, so that I can, when we put the felt inside the mouth, you won't be able to see it. But just imagine that this sock has a heel. The heel would be on the other side. So we're going to come back down again. I can show you what I'm doing down here on the table. So we have our mouth plate. We have our sock. We have some hot glue. Just going to bring you guys down here. Now what I'm going to do is apply some hot glue to my mouth plate. Now you want to get some squigglies in there all the way around. Really be liberal with it. But don't wait too long because hot glue does start to dry. So I'm going to put this right here and just press it down a little bit, just like that. Just taking a look at the comments. All right, we don't have any questions so far. All right, so you're going to give that a second to cool down so that you don't scorch yourself. And while we're letting this cool down, we're going to talk about felt. Now, we need to choose a color of felt for the inside of the mouth. Now, on my friend here, the inside of his mouth is black. So I think this time I'm going to make the inside of my mouth pink. I think that's what I want to do this time because I already have one that has a black inside of the mouth. And you see, you can start thinking about your tongue too. I used a pink tongue here, but you can use any color you want. All right. So we have this. We're going to come back up. Hi again. So we have this. It's inside out right now. We need to bring it right side out. So I'm going to put my arm all the way back in. And I'm just going to sort of grip the bottom here, and pull the sock over it. Just like that. And you'll find that you get like a little sock like that right in there. Just pull it on through until the mouth plate is all the way out. Like that. You can see where we glued it. Now I'm going to put my hand in here to show you guys exactly how this all comes together. So here's my hand with the cardboard on the inside, and there's the bend. So we've got a nice little, oh, it's already starting to come to life. So we're going to choose the color of the inside of our mouth plate now. So you can see got some pink. So what I'm going to do is cut the pink out into roughly the same shape as the inside of the mouth. You don't want to make it too big or too small, but the inside of the mouth can be any color you want. Think of the kind of character you'd like to make with your sock puppet. If you want to make a sea monster, maybe the inside of their mouth is green and they've got a blue tongue. If you want to make like I'm just thinking about monsters, but like a lava monster, maybe the inside of its mouth is red and it's got a black tongue. I don't know. Go crazy. So I'm going to bring you guys back down. All right. So we've got our felt. I'm just going to cut my felt out into sort of the same kind of oval shape. It doesn't have to be exactly precise because you can always trim it a little later. Make sure your scissors are nice and sharp. All right, so I'm going to put these scraps over here. So you can see I've got a nice little inside. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to put it on the inside. Here's my hot glue. Oh, I got little tiny hot glue sticks, so this one's going to need a new one soon. But what I'm going to do is go around the inside here. Again, you want to do some on the inside as well so that it doesn't sort of get saggy in the middle so that it's all together. See, I sort of did like a zigzag there. It's going to be real generous. So I'm going to flip this over without burning myself, without sticking my fingers in the glue. I'm going to very carefully pop it on there and press it down. All right. So you can start thinking about your tongue now, or you can wait until after you've got your eyes on. Now, oh, very, very bright. For eyeballs, you see I've got two little caps here. We've got our sock. You're going to want to put your sock on your hand for this next step because you want to see where you want to put the eyes. And also this is a good chance to sort of smooth out the inside of your mouth plate if you find it's a little wiggly like mine is in there. So now we've got the pink inside of the mouth. I might trim a little bit of this away later when I do the tongue. But now it's time to decide where you want to put the eyes. Now, it all depends on what kind of character you're making, but you could put eyes right on the top. You could sort of put them up like this. We're going to be gluing them on with the hot glue. Or if you've got a ping pong ball, I'm going to show you how I made this half ping pong ball, and it's got a little backing so that it's super easy to, whoop, there goes my ping pong ball, these things roll. Super easy to make them. So I've got a ping pong ball here. I'm just going to take a little pair of scissors, and I'm going to get to the seam of the ping pong ball and sort of like weasel them in there. Then I'm just going to clip it all the way around the seam. Now at the Ballard, we use ping pong balls that don't have any labels on them, so we don't have to paint over them. But if you have a ping pong ball and it's got a label on it, all you have to do is just put a little bit of paint on it, or you could cover it in felt if you'd like to. So now I've got two halves of a ping pong ball, and now you can see on my puppet here, he's got little black rims around his eyes. That's because I glued the ping pong ball down to a piece of felt so that it would be easier to glue onto the rest of the sock. So I think I'm going to use blue this time. So here's some blue felt. To bring you up just a little bit more. Here's some blue felt. I've got my hot glue gun. Now, this is really something for parents to do if you've got little kids. But if you're a little older or you're an adult yourself doing this, you just put the glue right along the seam of the ping pong ball, press it down onto the felt. So I'll do this a little closer. Just gluing around the edge of the ping pong ball. And pressing it down to the felt. I'm going to give those a little second to cool off while we talk about pupils. Now, the pupil really is what gives the puppet like a lot of life. It's what lets it focus on a camera or focus on a person when you're making the puppet talk to them. We want to do the pupils last because we want to make sure that the eyes are exactly where we want them to be before we try to focus them. So before you start gluing little pupils onto your eyeballs, we want to get them onto the puppet itself. So I'm going to cut these guys out. Just going to leave a little edge around the bottom because it looks kind of neat. It kind of makes it look like it's got like a little line around its eye. It's pretty cute. You could leave a whole lot if you wanted to make it look like it had like eyeliner or any kind of, or makeup. That'd be a really fun way to do that. We can also add things onto the eyes later to make it look like it's nice and fancy. Now while I'm cutting these out, we can sort of talk about decorations. Decorations for sock puppets can be literally anything you want. You can color them with markers. You can decorate them with feathers. If you have any scraps of faux fur around, or if you have like little bits of fabric, you can make hair. You can make it out of yarn. All right, so we've got my little eyeballs. So I'm going to put my sock puppet back on. Try to decide where I want to put the eyes. You can also make a cyclops. You don't need 2 eyes. You could make 3 eyes. You can put as many eyes as you want. So if this were a cyclops, that's where the eye would go. But I think I want to put the eyes pretty far forward on this one. I'm going to put them like right there. I think that that's how I like this one. This one seems nice and silly. You can see that it's sort of a different personality for a puppet if I put the eyes way up here. So this is a nice little time to experiment with what kind of eyeballs you want to make. Oh, and we have a question about the mouth plate installation. Just while we're experimenting with eyeballs, take a second to decide where you want them, how many of them you want, what kind of creature you want it to be. Ooh, I kind of like that. I might make a cyclops. Still a little time to decide. The mouth plate installation, you turn the sock inside out and put the piece of cardboard that you cut out in this oval shape inside the sock, and you glue it there and you press it down and then you pull the sock back right side out. All right, so now that we've taken a second to think about where we want to put our eyes, you want to take your hand out of the puppet because you don't want to put hot glue on the back of your hand. And I'm going to bring you guys down here. So nice to have a hinging laptop. All right, so I decided that I wanted to put my eyes down here. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue all the way around the edge. Put some glue in the center so that it doesn't move very much. I'm going to put that first eye right there. Going to take the second one, put it all the way around the edge in the center. And you don't have to use felt to back the eyes either. You can use cardboard, you can use paper, you can use anything that'll just give it a little bit of body back there. It's just to give you a little bit more for the ball to hang on to. You can do the same thing with bottle caps. And I'm going to show you right now, actually, how to transform a bottle cap into a pretty cool eyeball while this guy cools off over here. All right, so we've got these two bottle caps. I want to turn them into some fun eyeballs. So what I'm going to do is take a little piece of white felt. This could also be white paper, even computer paper. I'm going to take this first one. I'm going to put some glue all over the top here. Pretty good amount of glue, and I'm going to just boop, stick it top side down onto the felt. And same with this one. Just stick it top side down right onto the felt. Give them a second to cool off. They're pretty cool. You can see we've got some caps stuck on there, so I'm going to cut them out. Like I said, you can do this with paper. You can do it with felt. You can do it with other types of fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the bottom and cut around the circle. And there we have sort of the beginnings of a new eyeball. I'm going to trim away some of the rough spots here. Just checking the messages. And if you have questions, please feel free to put a message in the comments, and we'll take a second before we start putting pupils on and start working on tongues to deal with questions if anybody missed a step. So I'm going to take that again. So you can use bottle caps and just cover them over, make eyes with those, and then once you have them put onto your puppet, you can decide where you want your pupils. And you can install them flat down, or you can install them like that. So like if I were putting them on my puppet, I could put them like that. Oh, and if you wanted to put them on top of another set of eyes, that'd be fun too. But you can put them like that, you can put them like that. Works any way you want. And you can do the same thing with egg carton sections. All right, so now we're going to talk about tongues. So I'm going to need a tongue in this guy. You can make any color tongue you want, but I'm going to go with a darker pink for mine because I wanted to do pink inside the mouth. So I'm just going to cut out, I think I want it to be a forked tongue. I think that this one's going to be some kind of snake. So I'm going to cut out a nice snake tongue. And you can come up with your character on the fly. You can just start making stuff and see what you like. See what happens. All right. So I've got my tongue. Now something fun that you can do if you have a set of markers is you can add some dimension to the tongue if you'd like. Now we're going to see if this shows up all right. I'm going to bring you guys back down. So I've got a marker and I want to put like a center line on this tongue. So I'm just going to start drawing it. Now it's coming out kind of light. So I'm going to try a black marker instead. It'll look a little cartoonish, but hey, it's a sock puppet. It's fine. There we go. So you can see now it's got a little bit of dimension to it. It's like, looks like a snake tongue. So I'm going to take this snake tongue and I'm going to glue it right here on the bottom jaw. So, but first, before I glue it, if you want to see what it looks like before you start, put your hand in your sock puppet. Oh, look at that. Already starting to come to life with some eyes. So we've got that, and I'm going to try to put my tongue in and see if I like the way it looks. That's not bad. I like that it kind of sticks out a little bit. So I'm going to put that in with a little bit of hot glue. So I'm just going to put a bead of hot glue all around the edge of the outside of the tongue on the opposite side from where we colored it. I'm just going to stick it into the mouth plate. Whoop, got a little bit of hot glue on my fingers. It's nice to have a little cup of water if you're ever working with hot glue and you burn yourself a little bit, just stick your hand in the hot water and it'll really, really help. And then you can just peel the hot glue right off. I work with hot glue a lot, so a lot of little burns on your hands. So now I'm going to take a little bit of time and trim off the excess mouth felt that's sort of sticking out when I close the mouth. It's a nice time to sort of polish up the inside of the mouth so that it's not loose. You can also put a lip in if you like. If you want to like put an extra piece of fabric around this edge so that it shows on the outside when the mouth is closed, you can make a nice lip. But I'm just gonna, I don't know if snakes, I don't think snakes have lips, so I'm just gonna leave it with no lips this time. And I'm super interested to see what everybody creates. So once you're done your puppet, please feel free to take pictures of it and send us pictures of all of the puppets that you've made. I would really love to see all of the cool creatures that you guys are making. All right. So next up comes a really important part of the puppet. We're going to talk about placing the pupils. Now this is placing the pupils, like how you want to place them, is what we call focusing a puppet. It gives the puppet its ability to look at things. So you can see you're not really certain where this puppet is looking because it doesn't have any focus in its eyes. So we're going to choose an eye color from the felts that I have here. Let's see. Do I want purple? I think I'm going to go with blue. This puppet, the one that I made before, has black pupils and they're circles. Your pupils don't have to be circles. They can be slits like a cat's eyes. They can be square like a goat's eyes. They can have two pupils. You can just go crazy. But for this one, I'm going to make little diamond pupils because this is a snake. So I'm going to clip out a little bit of felt. And a neat little trick if you want to make two of the same shape and size of a shape out of felt, just fold the felt in half, and then you only have to cut once because you're cutting through both layers of felt at the same time. So I'm making little diamond-shaped eyes like that, and we're gonna see how I like it. Now don't glue them on first. You're gonna want to test out where you like them. So if I wanted, these are a little too big. That's good, it's felt. I can just clip it down again. I'm going to round out the corners a little bit, make it look a little bit more friendly. I want it to be a friendly snake. Not all snakes are scary. Actually, most snakes aren't scary. You just have to give them space. I like snakes. All right. So we have slightly smaller, friendlier pupils. And I'm going to look at it for a second. So you want to sort of figure out where you want to place the pupils before you glue them on. And I suggest placing one first. So I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue, put it on the back of this pupil here. I'm going to glue it right onto the eyeball. So see, she's got one pupil. And before the hot glue sets entirely, I'm just going to move it around a little bit. Now, if you're using white glue, this will be a lot easier for you because white glue dries a lot slower. So you'll have the chance to move it around a little bit before it sets. But even if you're using hot glue, if you put the pupil on and it's not exactly where you want it, just pull it off before it's dry. There's no harm in starting over again. We all make mistakes. So I've got the one pupil on, and I'm going to try to focus the other pupil so that when I have it on my hand, I'm going to put this on my hand now so that I can show you what I'm talking about. When I have it on my hand, it looks like it's looking at something. So this one pupil right there. Now, the other pupil, see, it doesn't look like it's looking at very much right there, but if I put it there, it looks sort of like it's focusing. So I'm going to take it off again because I need both of my hands to glue. I'm going to glue the pupil back on. And now's a really good time to start thinking about decorations. If you have beads, you can use beads as teeth. Those are really fun. If you have any faux fur, you can put a little bit of hair on your puppet. If you have feathers, those make really fun eyebrows or hair. It's really up to you. The world is your oyster. All right. I think I like that. Got some snake eyes. And now, effectively, now you have a functioning sock puppet. You've put the mouth in, you've got your eyes on, your pupils are on. Mm. But what if I wanted to give this puppet a little bit more personality? I'm sure that you saw on my other puppet, we've got some eyelids on here. It sort of gives him like almost like a tired look or a relaxed look. What if I wanted to give my snake some eyelids? Not technically very accurate. I don't know if snakes have the same kinds of eyelids, but I like, let's see if I have any green. I want to give this snake some green eyelids, and I do. So I'm going to show you guys how to make some eyelids, and then I'm going to decorate and show you what I'm doing to decorate, but you don't have to follow what I'm doing. You can decorate in any way that you want. I'm going to put some little tiny teeth in the mouth so that it looks like it's got little fangs. I might give it some angry eyebrows if I want it to be an angry snake. But I'm going to bring you guys back down as soon as I clean up all of this felt. Keeping your workspace clean is really important if you want to remember where everything is. But don't be afraid to get creatively engaged. You can have a little bit of mess on your desk as long as you're working on something. That's what we are always told at the Puppet Lab. All right, so we've got a snake. We've got some green felt. Now, what I'm going to need is a rectangle of green felt, because I think I'm going to have my eyelid go over both eyes on the back. So let's put this away. I've got enough felt now. So I'm going to put this eyelid here, and I want it to go down between the two eyes. Now that looks a little angry. I don't know if I want her to look that angry. See, that looks a little better. It's all about the angle at which the eyelid hits the other side of the head. So the first thing is I'm going to put a little dab of glue between the two eyes. And I'm going to press the eyelid down between both of them. Right there. So you can see she looks a little angry. It's like a little angry snake. We're going to give that a little time to set before I start pulling on the felt. But you are going to want to pull on the felt a little bit because you can see it's shaping itself to the ball. And I'm just going to put a line of glue right along the inside of this eyelid, all the way to the edge. And I'm going to decide how I want my snake to look. So I want it to look kind of sympathetic. So that's sort of like a nice sympathetic eye. Part of the eyelid comes down over the pupil. If you wanted it to be angry, you could angle the center towards the front, and then that gives you sort of like a sort of angry look. I'm going to go and do the other eyelid just the same. This one's a little long, so I didn't go all the way to the edge. I'm going to try to match it. See, that's not too bad. Just pull it down, and we'll trim away what we don't need at the end. So as you can see, we've already got sort of a nice little start to our eyelids, but now we're going to focus on the back. We're going to glue down around the edge, so I'm going to flip up. You guys can see the back here. I'm going to flip up the back. Oh, another glue stick. I have such tiny glue sticks. And I'm going to glue right around the edge of the back of the eye, right on the place where right on the felt that we used to glue the eye on. And I'm just going to press the felt down. It's okay if there are wrinkles. We can deal with those a little later. But I'm just going to press the felt down onto the back. And try not to let it lift up as it's drying. So sometimes you just got to hold it down a little bit. And I'm interested to hear in the comments what you guys are making for yourselves. Let me know what kind of creatures you're making, or if you're making a person, or what kinds of fun stuff you guys are making with your socks. I would love to hear about it. And don't forget, if you want to share pictures with us, we would love to see pictures. It would be so nice. It's always nice to see what other people are creating. All right, so I'm just putting in a little extra glue around the edges where I'm noticing that it's coming up, like right here. A little extra glue. And then as soon as I'm done gluing, we're going to trim. So you can see, got eyelids. And you can do that for each eye as well. You don't have to do it in one big piece. You can do it for each eye individually, especially if you want to make your eyelids not as symmetrical. So I'm going to bring you guys back up. Hi again. So I'm going to trim away the felt that's on the back of the eyes. So just take a little pair of scissors and make sure not to cut my sock. Don't want to cut your sock. All right. Just going to snip it away. And please let us know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. The last part of this is decorating, so there aren't a lot of instructions. It's just going to be me showing you what I'm doing, so that maybe I can give you guys an idea of what you'd like to do. And by all means, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can make your own artistic decisions. That's what's so beautiful about puppetry. You get to make your own choices and make your own creatures and make them come to life. That's really what I love about puppetry. I love making creatures. I love making interesting characters and telling stories with them. And we'd love to hear what kind of stories you tell with your characters. Now you see how I have these two little points on the back? We're going to create what's called a dart. Those of you who know how to sew probably know what a dart is, but essentially I'm just going to take this triangle of felt, and I'm just going to snip it right off. So you see we've got this little hole back here now. I'm going to run a little bit of glue in there. Whoop. I'm going to press it down. Ta-da! Like it was never there. That little line right there is a dart. It's where you take out a little bit of fabric to make it into a shaped piece. Normally they kind of look like triangles. I am going to do the same thing with the other eyeball because I have two darts in similar places. Pretty symmetrical. Ta-da! I'm going to pull the felt. Oops! You see, I accidentally cut away a little bit too much there, so what I'm going to do, felt is so forgiving, I'm going to make a little triangle of felt. I'm just going to stick it on there. We're just going to cover it up. It's okay. Mistakes are fine. Everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes I cut too much felt off of the back of the eyelid. Push a little bit of felt right in there. And we've got our eyelids. So we've got our snake with our eyelids. It's all trimmed. I'm going to put this on and I'm going to show you guys what she looks like and what kind of a different personality she has now that she's got eyelids. So she's a lot of fun. But what if I wanted to make her nose puffy? Now, if you happen to have a little bit of fiber fill, you can take that fiber fill and stuff it into the end of the puppet and make a puffy nose. Now, with a sock as long as the one that I have, I'm not going to try to glue it in. I'm just going to place it in there. But I'm going to take this stuffing and I'm going to ball it up in my fist and then put my fist all the way through the sock. And I'm going to put the stuffing in the nose. Now see, instead of a flat sort of nose, now she's got a little bit of a rounded nose. And I'm going to squish it all the way forward. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I like that as much for this character, so I'm going to take it out. But if you like it, you can keep it right where it is. You can also put a little bit of stuffing right under the eyes, or put a little bit of stuffing right behind the eyes and make sort of like a little head bump. Oh, that's actually kind of cute. Make a little head bump. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You could use a cotton ball or leftover yarn. You could even use like chopped up rags. You can use, yeah, and anything that'll fill up the space and isn't wet. But you can, oh, look, that's a nice little shape. She's got a nice little shaped head now. Actually, I might add a little bit more fluff up there and try to get that glued in. It's easier to get it to stay when you glue it in. So I'm gonna roll my sock inside out. I'm gonna bring it up over her mouth plate. Try not to get her eyes too upset. But now you can see I have access to the inside the mouth plate. So what I'm going to do here is I want a bunch of fluff right behind the eyes. So I'm going to, it's easier to glue the sock than it is to glue the fluff. So I'm going to take the glue gun, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm just going to do a couple good squirts in there. And then I'm going to take my fluff, like this, and I'm going to place it in there, being very careful to press it in without touching the glue with my fingers. Again, a nice cold glass of water or a bowl of water near you when you're working with hot glue is really, really a smart idea, because then if you burn your fingers, you can just put them right in. All right, so I've got my, you can see my stuffing is in there now, right over my mouth plate. I'm going to bring the sock back over nice and carefully. You can see where it's all glued in there. And I'm going to put it on and see how I did with placement. Oh, that's kind of adorable. You can see that I gave it like a nice big poofy head, but I can squish it down a little bit if I don't want it to be as big. But now she's got like a little bulbous head right there. Now if I wanted to give her teeth, I think that I'm going to use felt, but you could also use little bits of foam if you have it, or little bits of cardboard or paper. I'm going to use felt because it's nice and soft, and I want her to look soft. She's sort of a soft sort of character. She's a friendly snake. So we're going to slip her off, and we're coming to the end. This is all just aesthetic now. It's all just sort of figuring out the exact character you want to do and adding things onto the puppet, like feather eyebrows. She doesn't need any feather eyebrows because I think that her eyelids sort of do it for her. But if you wanted to put feathers on your puppet, or if you wanted to put like a little scrap of fur, you could give hair. I don't think I'm going to give her hair, although that's a very lovely color. You can do, I've got a little pack of feathers right here. I didn't know I was going to make a snake until I made her. That's one of the beautiful things about making things live, is sometimes you just decide on the fly what you'd like to do. But like if I had a nice feather like this, I'm going to try to find another yellow feather. Nice yellow feather. And I wanted to give her angry eyebrows. I could just do like angry eyebrows like that. See, she looks kind of silly. But also, if I wanted to make her a feathered snake, like a, ooh, that's kind of special. But you can decorate your puppet any way you want. And again, please do send us pictures of what you make. We're really interested in seeing what you guys have put together. I'm just going to make her fangs. And I think after her fangs, I'm going to show you guys how I color on the sock. And then I'm going to leave you guys to making your own puppets. And I can't wait to see what you make. I'm very, very excited. Now let's see. I can either put her fangs in like that, so that when she opens her mouth, you see them, or I could put them in like this, so that when her mouth is closed, you can still see them. And I think that's what I would like to do. Because I want you to see her fangs even when her mouth is closed. So I'm going to squeeze them a little bit. Put one right there. See, I sort of made a triangle out of it. Ooh, got a little bit of glue on my fingers. Sometimes I don't even feel it anymore. So we've got one fang, sort of a silly little fang. Another fang. I think I'm going to want to make a T-Rex next time. That would be cool. Then I could give it little tiny pipe cleaner arms. And that's always an option too. If you want to give your puppet arms, you can always use pipe cleaners. You can use bits of string. Let's see. I'm just going to get this all set on here, and then I'm going to show you guys my mostly finished puppet. Just gonna snip. All right, let's get this one on. And a fun exercise to do once you're done making your puppet is try introducing your puppet to another puppet, or try introducing your puppet to your parents or to your friends, or make a little video with your puppet. And try to think about what sort of personality they have. She looks a little shy, so hi. Don't look at her. Look at me. Hi. Try to imagine how they'd say hello to another person, or what their favorite color is, or what their favorite food is. Um, and that's a good way to start giving your puppet a little bit of personality. But the personality really starts to come through in your design. So think about what kind of character you want to make and what sort of things you would need to do to make the character look the way you want it to feel. So I'm just going to draw some scales on her. I'm just using a marker. I'm going to give her some scales. I'm doing this on my arm so that I can sort of see how it all comes together. But there's so many different things that you can use to make your puppet look the way you want it to. Now I'm going to finish her up off camera. I'm going to give her some more scales. And if anyone has any questions, I would be happy to answer them. But I can't wait to see what you've all made, and I hope that you guys can send us some pictures, and I hope that you have fun with your new sock puppets. They're really lovely, and they're a lot of fun. So I'm going to finish this one up with some scales, and I hope that you guys all have a wonderful day. And please send us pictures of all the puppets that you make, because it's really nice to see what other people are creating with the workshops that we do. And keep an eye on this Facebook page, because we're going to have so many more cool workshops and events coming up. You just don't want to miss them. So thank you so much. I'm Maggie Flanagan, and thank you so much for coming to my puppet workshop. All right, bye everybody.